we living in the final hours of humanity? Is the coronavirus, called the COVID-19, a description of what it speaks about in Revelations and also given through a prophecy in Daniel? And is there more to come as we wind up the end of our generation? Is there more that we need to be watching for? Will there be redemption for the Hebrew people, and will we see reparations paid to the offsprings of those that were enslaved and worked for free to build not just North America, but also some of the major empires of our world today? I stand here in the presence of the Father, our Creator, and our Mother that has given birth to all living existence. I give honor to the people that have charted the course so that we may be able to stand here today in North America and around the world. I understand that through information, knowledge, and wisdom, with understanding, that we are able to begin to tell the truth and become truth tellers. I'm encouraged for those that have died for the call of liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness. Because the warriors and soldiers that are women and men have left us a legacy that we must continue. I want to thank also the Messiah. We call him in English Jesus Christ. In Hebrew, it's Yeshua, the Messiah, that was beaten, tortured, stripped from his rights, and killed. But this was not the final call. He reigns with an army in heaven with power that can destroy anything that comes against the people of righteousness. If you have an ear, hear what the Spirit of our Father and Mother is saying. I am assured that the throne of God is secure as the elders in heaven sit next to them. Michael and Gabriel, our military and operational archangels, stand waiting to go to battle. The spiritual armies stand on the side of the Father. I also stand on his side as well. In this, we surround ourselves by the unseen power and the loving nourishment of our Mother, which dwells and makes up the DNA of who we are. For we all are created in the image of the Mother and the Father. This makes us unique and special no matter who we are, no matter what our skin color is, no matter our status, no matter what family we come from. We are all one family. We all are connected through the Y gene, and it has been proven we come from one existence. Furthermore, we all have a spirit, and in that spirit, whether a babe or fully grown, is the counsel within us. This is how we know we are his, because he left his imprint in all of his design. A design that is very complex. However, because of this complexity, humans have tried to rule over and abuse God's creation. This places us at a very important crossroad. I ask the question, why are we so docile after leaving a service or a church? The system of the church is destroying the culture of the Hebrews and those that attend by teaching no action behaviors like turn the other cheek, total dependence on someone going to save us, waiting on the Savior, faith, praying and waiting on the Lord, this handling, unfairness, and greed killings are coming to an end. If we want to survive this moment, then we must change the way we do business in North America and around the world. Now today, most people around the world, churches, organizations, and businesses will celebrate a ritual that is not common in heaven. So today a message was given to us from our Father and our Mother to help us get on the right path. The path is of a narrow road. The path that takes us from point A all the way to Z. There will be few that will enter this path. A few that will make a decision to mimic the character of God, and why I say we are at a very important crossroads. When we are at a crossroads, we have to make a decision. A decision to make it right, or a decision to continue wrong. But is there such thing of right or wrong? You may ask that question. Was it right or wrong for the Messiah to go through what he went through on our behalf? Or was it right or wrong for one body of humans to captivate, enslave another body of humans? Was it right or wrong for doctors to give you and give us a pill for every ill instead of suggesting healthy remedies? What is right and what is wrong for those that hold power and for those that punish people for reading? Or is it right or wrong that one body of humans can get away with crimes that another body of humans gets life for in penitentiary? Or do we say this was the Father's will for slavery? Or was it his will to not compensate those that work day and night just to go home drained, beaten, disrespected without pay? We are at a vital crossroad. The mother and the father are very upset about how their family here on earth are conducting ourselves. They live in the terrestrial. They have emotions. They care about their creation. However, their creation has rebelled against them knowingly and ignorantly. Some would say, well, I've been praying, I've been fasting, I've been obeying, but it seems that it only is a waste of time. Injustice still haven't prevailed. That it is taking too long for the redemption of the Hebrews and the underserved. Some have even given up. Well, I come in the name of the Father in heaven, that the time has come for that redemption and restitution to be considered in this period and in this time of humanity. The time has come for those who pillaged to be pillaged. The time has come that those have murdered will be murdered. The time has come for those that have stolen to be stolen from. Our redemption is here. The power of our Father and the frustration of our mother is being revealed. And the time is now for them to make things right. We must persevere. Don't stop speaking to the Father daily. Don't stop fasting. Continue to feed your spirit and your soul, in your mind. Draw close to them because they have a love for us that is everlasting. Do not lose that relationship as the world goes through the first wave of plagues, pestilence, and the next will be famine, After that will be financial hardship. Just like in the days of Pharaoh, so it will be for this world that continues in the evil behavior. This is a call to the nations, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica. If you have an ear, hear what the Spirit is saying to your governments. Take heed of what the Spirit of heaven is speaking. Do not turn from it. Do not ignore it. The words that the Father in heaven is speaking to his creation. If we want to remain, we must hearken to the voice of our Father. This is our test of times. And when the powers that disregard the message from heaven in the past destroyed their own lives, they destroyed their children's lives, their great-grandchildren's lives, their great-great-grandchildren's lives, and everyone that followed. Do not be naive to think that this will not happen to you as well. Don't be deceived, my brothers and sisters. We have a lesser that is after each of us. And the lesser I use to give title to the devil. I just don't give him that much respect. He's here to kill, steal, and to destroy humanity, no matter if you're on his side or not. It wants to see all humans destroyed. It hasn't gotten over the fact that the creation is more beautiful than it is. It was in the presence of the Father in the beginning. He was a chief musician, and that's why we have some of the most powerful music on this earth, because he is the chief musician here today. He no longer holds that position. So my brother, I inform you, do not be deceived. For you presidents, you governors, you city officials, you pastors, priests, evangelists, apostles, bishops, and all those ministers around the world, its system, which is unseen, infiltrates our system that we can see. Its system, no matter who is set in it, will destroy all things that are created by our Father and that have been born out of our mother. Those that have the power and the voice must speak out for righteousness and for justice, equality. Let's stop manipulating our parishioners to try to build common ground of poor stories to relate to those that listens. My ministers, the shepherds should rally the people of the organization for justice and rights. But they show up to a trunk and treat, a fashion on Sunday, an Easter Sunday, an Easter egg hunts. All the while people are dying, oppressed, and today during the COVID-19 will suffer the worst. Woe to those that continue this pattern. If you have an eye, see. If you have an ear, hear what the Spirit is trying to convey to us. Woe to those who keep writing oppression. Woe to those that oppress and cause pain on others that they know cannot defend themselves. Those that have oppressed will suffer pain like a woman giving birth. He will punish those that have sinned against him. That is not just for those that have been called the Hebrews, also those outside of the calling. White, black, brown, yellow, green, red. Your color does not make a difference of what God is going to do if we continue in our sin. Color doesn't make a difference. I would encourage all of us to live with a moral compass. We are not walking it out. We are shouting it out. And why is that? Because we want everyone to hear us. A moral compass plus spirituality equals truth. We get our Father's attention by righteousness and by moral health, not by evil doing, disregarding your neighbor, killing just to kill, stealing just to steal. And to my churches here in North America and around the world, lives and livelihoods are on the line, and I plead with you Baptists, you Mormons, you Pentecostals, the Catholics, the Muslims, and all religions to rally together for one call and one purpose. And that is for the justice of the people that have suffered all these years in North America and around the world. Why are we so powerless? Did we become powerless because we became afraid after Martin Luther King Jr. got shot? Or when the church was added to the 503c in 1954, which controls the church today, so that there will and cannot be any organization or organizing to talk about real issues of the black and brown community. The 503c has eliminated organizing and talking about these real issues of today. Is this where we lose our confidence, our faith and power, the unifying for justice and right? President Lyndon Johnson silenced the church in 1954. Look at our communities today. We no longer come together, for the most part, to make our communities better because the church can't afford to lose their tax-exempt status. They can't afford to talk against the political realms of this world. They can't afford to go against the government and the city officials of their state, because if they did, they would have to pay taxes. Now, let me handle this tax situation because it's a very, very important issue that has been on our fathers and our mothers' heart that are in heaven. Why doesn't the church pay their fair share of taxes? Our teacher taught us, our Messiah taught us, to pay Caesar's what is Caesar's. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob paid their taxes and more. This helps the education, the justice, and health systems in our community. We spend more time fixing the fish rather than changing the water in the pond. I encourage my churches, my community organizations, to begin to tackle some of the policies that have been put in place to destroy humanity. we must gather and unite for one cause and one cause only. Our battle is for our future and for our children's future, period. We must stand if we care. We must fight in a time when the fight is most necessary to win this war. But you say, what you mean by fight? Well, I would encourage each of us to fight first by cleaning out the evil inside of our hearts. Second, we must fight by encouraging our ministers, our businesses, our governments, and those around the world that this cannot continue. Because if it does, the Father will not stop until He gets your attention. The church is a place to practice our faith by fighting for justice in the issues that are most important to our community. The church was a place for people to come together, talk about real issues of the community, and how they are going to unite to come up with a solution for equality, justice, and education. Furthermore, for economical well-being for our people. That was destroyed by this new policies and several other policies, such as the policy in the Constitution that states that we are still 3/5 of a man, and if you're black, you have a worse chance of having an opportunity in America than you would have anywhere in the world. That should not be. And we have 100-year-old organizations that haven't addressed that one matter alone. That has destroyed the foundation of our community. Now, some churches have no benefit to our community. On top of that, they pay no taxes in our community. On top of that, they pay no attention to the real issues of our community. They try to teach us spirituality, but spirituality comes by us knowing the truth, and the truth shall set us free. And what is that truth? The truth of fairness, the truth of equal opportunity, the truth that I may be able to drive down my block and not feel fearful of my own policeman in my own neighborhood. That's spirituality. Spirituality has all elements involved in such social justice, financial security, quality education, and economic growth. This is true spirituality. If we as a people do not look at these problems in our community and overlook what is going on, we'll suffer the hardest hardship. We must go after this with all of our being. That's what I mean by our fight. We are very victorious. David went after Goliath. Joshua went after and conquered. Abraham killed a man after an Egyptian put their hands on his brethren. So we must go after this fight. We've prayed enough. We have fasted enough. We're starving right now. Now is the time to practice what we've read and been taught by our Father in heaven. Don't say, I hope that God is going to rescue us. Get that out of your mouth. But rather say, how can I rescue us? And guess what really is being said? how we want God to come save us, but we need to save ourselves with the power of the whole host of heaven. We need to show up, my brothers and sisters, my government, and my churches. Let's stand together to rectify the horrible situation that may be taking place down on the border. The horrible situation of poverty here in North America, around the world. The horrible situation of greed in our industry today. The whole host of heaven is on our side. We have a host of heaven that is for this battle. There's 4 beasts that sit in front of the throne of heaven. There's 24 elders that sit with the Father on his throne. There's a spiritual family that is 1 trillion times 1 trillion times 1 trillion of champions that want us to win and will do all they can so that we may win. And I'm talking about those like my mother that prayed herself to the grave. I'm talking about those that have prayed and died for the faith in the past. I'm talking about those that have stood even though it was hard in their day to make sure that their children don't live the same life that they have lived. They are now praying on our behalf in heaven today, and that's why we visit their graves. Because they're standing for that cause for justice. Heaven has our back. Our power is within us. I'll just pray about it and hope that the Lord take care of it. No. On the contrary, my Father has given us, your Father has given you the responsibility and demands change that is necessary for health and wealth in our generation today. So it's not his job for him to make the changes. It is our job to unite and begin to stand up for a cause of health and wealth. Now, and I'd like to go ahead and dab into this money thing because it seems that God can't take care of his own house. It seems that ministers get the privilege to talk and tell people to give their last. And then they go home and their bills get cut off. And then the minister says, trust in the Lord. But guess what the Lord is saying? Don't be a fool. Take care of your family first. Take care of your household first. Then you take care of those immediately in your family. Then you take care of the neighbor that's next door. Then you take care of the outside of your neighborhood. Then you take care of the church. I'm going to tell you why you do it in that manner. Because there are families struggling right now. Today, on Easter Sunday, as we have stated, giving their last, but they cannot put food on their table, and you're telling us to pray and God will take care of it. I believe you don't know what you're talking about. And if you are a minister, a pastor, a bishop, or anyone that is a shepherd, God can feed you and take care of his house without having to take the last penny from the poor. And excuse me for being just a little passionate about this. We have families suffering today that have given their all, and I would give a bet that if you went back to that church or that organization that you've given thousands of dollars to, I would almost have to, I'll bet you that you could not get a benevolence fund that could help you during a time of crisis. But that's what the church is supposed to be set up for, I thought. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the Father can take care of his own house. If he puts the mission inside of us, guess what? He can take care of his own house. If he calls you to a ministry, you don't have to ask your parishioners that you're trying to save for money. That's a manipulation, ministers. Stop asking for money, ministers. Ask the Father to take care of his own house, ministers, pastors, evangelists, bishops, those that are practicing, asking people for money. The Father doesn't do it. And where do you see that the Father asks us for our money? Only in Malachi, which Malachi is misrepresented. Now, don't take my word out of context. What I'm saying is, He takes care of those that work for His kingdom. There's nothing wrong with reminding those about the true blessing of giving, but we must allow them to be mature in a mature state, to give out of their maturity and understanding, not out of being pressured or out of guilt. I am not saying that those that work and serve our Father in heaven should not be compensated. On the contrary, what I believe is that if our Father has a mission, He can allow that mission to continue without having to order those that He's trying to reach to give their hard-earned money. Our Father's kingdom is not broke. Rather, He has all wealth and fortune. Now, giving is a good thing, but it's out of the heart, not under constraint and not under pressure. I got a scenario I gave to an organization, and I got home, and granted, I don't believe the pastors know what they're doing to the community. They're just going with tradition. I got home, and my lights were cut off. And so I prayed. And guess what the Father said to me? He said, go back and go get your money and go pay your bills first. Then you give to me. So we must be careful of the manipulation in this power hold that we believe we're going to give into a service or give to a minister and the Father's going to take care of our house. No, on the contrary, we must give to our responsibilities first. I'm almost to a conclusion, so just bear with me. We have a choice, brothers and sisters. Those that are in power, those that are not. And our choice is not to continue to say, the devil made me do it. Or, oh, I just ran into this and it wasn't my fault. So it means that we're just puppets to the lesser. And once again, I said the lesser is the devil. Or are we choosing to allow this wickedness to prevail in our hearts? It's our choice. It's nothing that is embarked on us. It's nothing that's placed on us. We choose our destiny. So today I stand here choosing the destiny of the people that I'm called to. That destiny is to make sure that we file a lawsuit in holding the government, organizations, corporations accountable to what they're doing to our nation. We have to sue every corporation and government that has misled, killed the people by just making money, knowingly and willingly. And they know the repercussions of their behavior. Let me just talk about this altar thing a bit, but it's a serious matter. We must eat healthy, exercise, and stay away from drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, cigars, blunts, and joints. And I'm going to tell you, my friend, this is not something that's not common to me. I have witnessed what it does. I know the damage it causes to the health. I am one that have indulged in it all. Then, guess what I've done? I run to the altar, I pray that God heals me, and guess what happens? Nothing happens. It leaves me frustrated. And then the Father speaks to me and says, Carl, I told you to take care of your temple. I am not going to take care of your temple for you. I'm not going to heal you because you can heal yourself. Stop smoking and drinking and eating unhealthy. Stop killing yourself. And you can heal your own existence. And then when we go to the altar and we don't get healed, guess what we do? We get mad at God and say, why didn't you heal me? He's not going to heal us. You know why? Because we've done it to ourselves. Now, not those that have come up with different type of illnesses that may not have been their own doing. That happens to us all. I'm talking about the practices that we practice as the Hebrew people, as the black and brown people, the practices of indulgence, of things that does not help us no matter what and no matter when. We must take care of ourselves. I'm coming to a close, and I appreciate you just hanging with me. Every Sunday at around this time, we're going to give a message. And this message is going to be straight, hopefully, from heaven. I would like to say I will get out the way so that the Spirit of God can speak through me. And the Spirit of God is in all of us. It actually has a spiritual language that we can speak that connects with our Father. Because I can guarantee you there's no English, Italian, French, so on and so forth, languages in heaven. There's one common language in heaven. So I say, as I come to a close, it all starts in the kitchen, where the family is bound up in love and in feasting. So enjoy today as the day will come to an end. And those that feed the body must consider feeding the spirit as well. Now I want to give a message and ask the question, how do we create jobs for our community? How do we police our community? How do we educate our children and our parents in our community? Let's create our own food in money banks, our own clothes and our own shoes, jewelry and businesses. But you say, oh, I like my new Jordans. I have nothing wrong with the Jordans. I love them. But if your bills are not being paid and you don't have a 6-month reserve, your credit score is 500, you don't have a backup, don't buy those Jordans. They're too expensive for you. Don't go buy that new car. Get you something that can get you to point A to point B. Build your credit score. Pay attention to what your credit is doing. Your health, our health. We must take care of it. And a lot of problems that we have is because of inflammation. Inflammation comes from where? All the unhealthy foods we're eating. I can tell you I changed my diet. And those that do know me know that I have a hard problem with my body. Because I didn't eat proper. I'm not eating proper. But when I change my diet, I see myself running faster. I see myself feeling better. So let's take care of ourselves, brothers and sisters. Crime is at an all-time high. Bro, my gangster, my thug, don't shoot your own. Shoot those that are oppressing you. Shoot those that are coming against you. I wouldn't suggest that, but don't shoot your own. Let's begin to read, family. Read. Pick up a book today and read. I don't care, small. Pick a thin book up. Read. If it's not a scripture, read a book. And get your mind ready. Get your mind and let it be healthy. Write down some goals. Write. These are our strengths and our wealth. is soon to come. We must be prepared for it. Invest, if you have it, not in a product that gives you no value. Invest in the stocks if you have money sitting around, my homies. Invest in gold. Invest in silver. Invest in land, because this is what builds our wealth, not us looking the best we can on Sunday. And I don't take away dress. Look nice, but do not go out your way if it does not build your wealth. Let me consider ownership here in America. The Hebrews in America and North America, despite making up 13% of the population, owns less than 1% of the rural land of our country. The combined value of that is only $14 billion. Our counterparts, by comparison, own more than 98% of U.S. land, amounting to almost 856 million acres, with a total worth of $1 trillion. We are letting our money, not all of us, roll up and smoke. Oh, I'm going to smoke that blunt. Roll up and drink. Oh, I'm going to drink that drink. While those around us are just growing in wealth. Create entrepreneurship in your spirit. Become an entrepreneur. Find something you can do with your hands. You can also join the union. After I come to a conclusion, you'll find you can join the union for protection, because there will be protection against the wrongdoings of those that are black and brown and tan. So in conclusion, this call is for every person to rise up, no matter what your skin color, to reform our educational system, to force amendment and policy changes, to keep jailhouses empty, to teach our children, to fight against the tyranny of our generation. Draw near our Father and Mother in heaven. They are inside of us and have given us the power to defeat any battle that comes against us. Stay safe during this time. If you need protection, please stay tuned. If you're dealing with civil, health, and criminal or work discrimination, please take down this information after I get done speaking. Call now for your protection. We must hold our government, organizations, and corporations accountable.